See, when it comes to websites, people are always thinking about, I have to know PHP, HTML, CSS, and all that. Knowing that is a good thing, but then it's not a necessity if you need to build a website today. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about why you need a website, how to build a website, and what you can actually do with a website once you've built it. Hi, my name is Kekeli, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to build a simple website. I started building websites when I was in the university. And funny story, my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife, she started learning about how to build websites. I was like, okay, this looks interesting. Let me look into it and see. I spent some nights going through videos on YouTube of how to build websites, and I was able to learn how to code in HTML, a little bit of PHP and CSS. And with that, I was able to start my first website. The site looked terrible, of course, but then that's not the point. The point is that it's possible for you to build your website. And in today's age, it's even much, much easier than when I learned it about 10 years ago. See, when it comes to websites, people are always thinking about, I have to know PHP, HTML, CSS, and all that. Knowing that is a good thing, but then it's not a necessity if you need to build a website today. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about why you need a website, how to build a website, and what you can actually do with a website once you've built it. Over the years, I've met many people who have an Instagram page with thousands of following, Facebook page with thousands, Twitter, YouTube, etc. And some of them get to me and like, why do I need a website? I already have this big thing going on social media. I don't really need a website. I want to give you a few reasons that might change your mind and to help you understand why it's really necessary for you to have a website. Well, the first thing is that a website improves your professional life. Think about it. When somebody Googles your name, what comes up? Most likely your Facebook page. And a Facebook page that you've been using to do all your stuff with your friends are seen by your professional network. The thing is that if you had a website, when someone Googles your name, maybe a prospective employer, he just Googles up your name to see who this person is. The person gets to see your website and he gets to read a little content about you, get to know a little bit more about you, see that, wow, this person is quite interested in these topics. And if it's related to the job, that's a big bonus. You get it? So having a website helps your professional background. You'll be able to represent yourself much more professionally just because you have a website. If maybe you have a website that's about politics or something like that, you realize that people who are into politics get to find your website because they search for topics online, and before you know it, you are connected. I remember being connected to one of the big CEOs in this country, and he found an article on my website. And with that, he just reached out to me, asked for a meeting. He was about to launch a new product, and he wanted my opinion about it. And I mean, this kind of connection would have never happened if I did not have a website. I think another good benefit of having a website is that it allows you to share your ideas. I mean, all of us have wonderful ideas hid up in our minds that we want to put out there. We want the world to know about. I mean, think about someone like Henry Ford. If he hadn't shared his idea about a car, about building a car, it would have deprived us of a lot of things. So it's quite important for us to, always have that attitude of sharing our ideas. And having a website is a great way to share your ideas. It's not like a social media post that after maybe a few hours, it gets missing amongst the lot. Once it's on the website, it's always there. As long as the website is up, even 10, 20, 50 years from now, you can always find the content fresh on the website. I think another great benefit of having a website is that it gives you a lot of opportunities. Just having a website and, creating content about the topic allows people to see you as an expert concerning this topic. You can get invited to conferences, to appear on podcasts, to an interview. I mean, it's endless. The options are endless. it gives you the ability to share your experience to the whole wide world, which I think is a great plus. Benefit number 5 is that having a website allows you to make an impact. Sharing information can be very, very valuable. If you are maybe teaching people, like the way I'm teaching people right now as to how to build a website, all this is written on my website as well. So people can actually sit down, go through, and help improve their skills. So that's going to create a big impact, because if I did not learn from someone, I learned how to build websites from a guy called Bucky.
What is going on, guys? My name is Bucky Roberts, and welcome to your very first tutorial in HTML5.
I don't even know where he is right now, but he taught me everything about HTML and all that, and I was able to build a website just because I spent some hours watching his videos, and now he has impacted me in such a way that I'm even now impacting you as well that's watching this video. So having a website puts all this in one place. You can impact people in so many ways through your content just by having a website. And I think the last and one of the important reasons is that a website can actually make you money. Yeah, you can actually make money from your website. You can either sell ads from Google or other providers, or actually partner. You can partner with big brands. It depends on how big your website has become over the years. But we'll get more into that. But know for sure that you can actually make money out of the website. Even if it's services, maybe you render a service, you talk about a certain product, and you also render that service. You can actually do that and receive customers through your website, or consultation gigs. People can call you just for consultation. So the opportunities are endless. You can actually make money when your website grows and becomes a formidable force. Okay, so now to how to create a website. Creating a website is not as complex as it used to be. As I said in the beginning, you don't need to know how to code. You don't need to know HTML, CSS, PHP, Python, and all that. You can actually create a website without any knowledge in coding. And that's what this tutorial is actually going to teach you. There are great softwares that you can use, such as Wix, Squarespace, WordPress, that also serve as a content management system. You can actually build, manage, and edit your website using a service such as WordPress. I use WordPress to build websites, and I think you should too, because WordPress is being used by about 30% of the internet, and it's very, very customizable. That's one of the main reasons why people like to use WordPress. So to get your website on the internet, you just need 3 things. You need to, first of all, get a domain name. You need to host that domain name. And of course, you need a website builder to be able to build your websites. So let's get started with the first one, which is the domain name. You can purchase a domain name. A domain name is the URL. What you go to, like facebook.com, kekelibakna.com, linkedin.com. So that's the domain name. That's the URL. You can actually purchase this very easily from any provider, any website provider. There are many, from GoDaddy to Namecheap, but I would recommend TMD Hosting. That's the one that I use. It's not a very crowded space. They provide great service, and they have great customer service as well, which I think is one of the most important things you should look out for when you're going for some of these providers. Some of the other ones that I mentioned are just very big, and because of their size, they are not able to give you the right kind of customer satisfaction. But with TMD Hosting, I've been using them for well over 8 years now, and I can guarantee that my websites have been up and everything works perfectly. So there's a link in the description below where you can go to, you can purchase your domain. You can also purchase hosting from them. Let me break it down so at least you understand some of these terms. So as I said earlier, the domain is the URL, like kekelibakna.com or facebook.com. Once you buy that, you need to buy a space on a server, where it's going to be hosted. So once you buy that space on the server, that's termed as hosting. So you can actually put your domain on that server, and now you can build your website right there on that server. makes it very simple. So it's kind of like buying land. The domain name is the plot of land. You bought a plot of land, you've hosted it, you've connected the electricity and all that to it. It's a service plot of land. And now all you need to do is to erect your house. That's to build it. And that's where you need a website builder. So having your own website comes with a little cost, which I don't think there's anything wrong with it. A lot of people like to have free things, which I don't believe in so much. There's a group of people who believe that everything on the internet has to be free, which makes no sense because everything is being hosted, everything is using server space and all that. And your website is no different. If you want the free service, fine. There are free services that you could go for, which are limiting, and you don't even get your own domain or your own URL. For example, you can actually host on WordPress.com for free, but then your website URL would look something like this, kekelibakna.wordpress.com, which is not very professional. I believe that if you're watching this video, you want to have your own URL, and that's what I really advise. You can buy a domain name, a .com domain name, for as low as about $10. It averages around $10 for a domain name. And to host it costs around $50 for an entire year. So that's about $60 for a year. You can have your website up for as low as $5 every month, which I think is very reasonable, given the fact that you're going to have your own domain name, your own URL. You're going to have your own space online where people can actually interact with you and where you can build and share all your ideas. And trust me, it's a good feeling when you actually get your own domain name. I mean, you know that you own this. It gives you a sense of ownership, which I think is great. You're actually buying a piece of digital property, and it's this cheap, really. But I have good news for you. If you use the link in the description below, you might be able to get a discount. So give it a try. Click the link in the description below. It's an affiliate link. You'll actually be supporting this channel as you use that. That's why I can give you this information totally free. So if you are trying to build a website, click the link in the description, get your domain name, get your hosting, and then we can now move to building your website with WordPress. So now let's go to building your website. Now that you have the domain name, you've hosted it, now you need to build it. If you use the link that I described in the description below, you can actually just send a query to them and ask them to install WordPress for you. They'll do that for free. So once WordPress is installed, they'll give you your login details and instructions on to how to log into WordPress. And in WordPress works in themes. There are different themes that you can actually select. And most of these themes are free. You can use them for free. And the themes take care of the design of your website. They give your website a feel. So you can browse through a bunch of their free themes, look at the one that you like, and then once you like it, you can apply it to your website. And immediately your entire website would take on that theme or that skin, if you like. The first thing is to select your theme. Now that you've selected your theme, all you need to do is to start building your website. I think your first website should not be too complicated. It should just be simple. All you may need is a blog, about us, and contact page. That's it. Having those pages are enough. You can add more information as time goes on. But then your blog can even serve as your homepage. So whatever article you post, immediately it shows on your blog. Whoever comes to your website gets to read about all the stuff that you're putting out there on the internet. And it's that simple using WordPress. You don't need to know how to code. You don't need to know anything. All you need is a little time to get familiar with WordPress and how to use it. And you can simply start building and even editing your blog post just like that. I think I need to add this. WordPress has what it calls plugins. Plugins are add-ons that you can add to your website. Like, for example, if you need a newsletter, there's a plugin for a newsletter that connects to MailChimp. So MailChimp is a newsletter service, and you can have a plugin plugged into your WordPress website. So without coding, you can actually connect your MailChimp newsletter directly to your website, and That's it. It gets connected. So you can pick up people's emails. People can drop in their emails and then get signed on to your MailChimp newsletter automatically. So that's the simplicity of plugin. It helps you integrate different apps into your website without you having to know a word of code. And one of the plugins I would recommend is Elementor. If you want to go further into building your website and making it look more attractive and adding more functionality to your website, like simple functionality like a form, etc., you can add Elementor. Elementor is a free plugin, but you can also have the paid version. And I think it's very worth it to have the paid version. It gives you so many options and allows you to really explore your creativity. So if you have a design background, I think this would be a great plus for you. You can easily design your website to make it look very appealing, very nice, very posh, So all that can be done easily using Elementor. So I've left a link in the description below. You can get it over there at a very good discount as well, and apply it to your website. I believe it's going to be of great benefit. Great. So now we have our domain name. We have hosted it. We've built a website. Now, what do we do with the website? What next? The next thing you need to be doing is to create content. Content is what drives the internet. A website would be useless without content. It's important for you to create content for your website because that's the reason why people are coming to your website. A lot of times people always think about the aesthetics. Wow, I want my website to do this. I want it to shine. I want it to kind of do all that kind of stuff. But I always tell people that it's not necessary at the beginning. Most people are going to be viewing your website on a mobile phone anyway. So keep it simple. You understand? I think it's very important to focus more on the content at the beginning than on the design. Use a free theme, get very good content onto your website. And that's going to help you a lot, because let me talk a little bit about producing content. Producing content always sounds like a difficult thing. It's like you have to think about it. You have to make it perfect. You have to make it just right before you put it out there and all that. But honestly, to be honest, keep it simple. Content doesn't have to be complicated. Content is basically you sharing your experience or your expertise on a particular topic. So if you know how to cook, you are basically creating content about cooking. You know how to cook fufu and groundnut soup. Maybe your grandmother taught you a secret recipe. You can share that content with other people. You can just share that content on your website. Maybe you're into shoes. Maybe you make shoes. You can share content as to how to make a very good shoe, or how to make a very good slipper, or how to dress. Maybe you're into fashion. You can share content on dressing styles, or how people should dress when they are going for certain events and etc. This is content that people are looking for. Or how do Africans dress? You get it? So content can be created in so many spheres and so many areas. It's nothing complicated at all. You are basically just documenting your experience. You are basically documenting your skill and what you know. And once you do that, you'll be able to create great content that can help many, many people who would be looking for that kind of information. Each one of us knows something that someone else doesn't. So just share it. That's all. That's all there is to creating content. Just share it. It doesn't have to be perfect. As time goes on, you can learn more and more about storytelling and how to create SEO content so you can attract more people to your website. And I think that brings me to the next thing, which is SEO, search engine optimization. Most of the online journeys begin with a search engine. I'm sure maybe some of you even found this video just by searching. Creating content that is searchable is a good way to start at the beginning, because nobody knows you. Nobody knows anything about you. Nobody knows where to find you. I mean, if you create content about a day in your life, nobody knows you. Nobody knows about your life. Nobody would really care. All right. But then if you create content in a different way, maybe you're a student, you are creating content about a day in the life of a university student in Ghana, or a day in the life of a university student in Nigeria or something like that. You realize that that content can now relate to people who are entering into the university. Or maybe you're into medical school. You can create content about medical school, how it is to go through medical school, learning through medical school, or maybe you're an art student or anything. I mean, wherever you find yourself, you realize that you can actually create content that will be valuable to people. All right. So never feel bad about creating content. Create the content, document your life. You realize that a lot of people would benefit from you just doing that. I think another thing is that you need to share your website. Once you create your content, share it. Share it on social media. You may have thousands of followers on Instagram already. Share it with everybody. Let everybody come to your website. Let everybody be a part of your website. Let everybody read your content. You can even ask friends to share it for you. If you're in a class, share it with the whole class. Tell them to share it with their friends. And you realize that that early audience that you'll be getting would mainly be friends and family, but they are very, very important to the growth of your website. It starts from them, and then as time goes on, you start getting people who might be total strangers, people who you don't know from anywhere, but you actually connect on the same level because you are all interested in the same thing. It's happened to me so many times. I now have people who are friends that I never knew, but just because of the content I create, we've got to know each other. We are now friends. You get it? So be open to that. These are some of the opportunities that having a website brings you. And finally, I would like to address one of the things that people always come to me about. That's Kekeli, I really love to create content and all that, but I'm shy. I don't want to put out my stuff there. I don't want my whole life to be out there for people to see and critique and talk about and all that. Yeah, I know. I understand that fear. I also had that a lot because I felt like why am I putting myself out there? Like maybe like this video, for example, you can actually pause the video, rewind the video, forward the video. You can do all that to the video and you just look at my face and all that. And like, okay, so who do you want to do that? Because you are the only person that knows what you know. You might think that other people have done this before, but you have a different take on it. You have a different perspective on it. I always tell people that in Africa, we are lacking a lot of content. There are a lot of things in Africa which are not documented, and it's up to our generation to do that. If you are not going to document it, who is? You might think that your area of expertise may not be of relevance, but it is. Whatever it is that you find yourself doing, you would find out that there's a group of people who are interested in that as well. So once you start producing the content, you realize that you're even helping build this community. So don't be shy. Don't let that shyness rid you. Just go ahead. Just do it. I always tell people, just start. Don't let anything stop you from starting. Sometimes we are thinking, oh, we want a better camera. We want a better audio. We want better this. You give yourself a whole list of excuses and you never get anything done. My advice is just start. Start with where you are. Start with what you have. That's not going to be the final result. As time goes on, you're going to get better and better in it, and you're going to improve. Okay, so don't beat yourself over not being perfect. I like everything to be crisp and perfect. You should see me preparing for this video. My wife was even laughing at me, but then I was like, what gives? Let me just do it, put it out there. Whoever is going to help will help, and that's it. Okay, so just start. Don't let anybody stop you. Those are my tips on how to start a website. I hope this video has been useful. If you found any value out of this video, give it a like for the algorithm, share it with your friends, comment below on the website you want to do. I really want to know about the kind of website you want to build. Comment below on the website you would love to build. If I have the time, I'll definitely help you out. Till the next time, have a wonderful day and stay blessed. Bye-bye.